Hello and welcome to another episode of In the Stands. You're joined by myself, Adam Deadman, and we've got both of the usual members of In the Stands, Tom Batt and Charlie Yorks, but we've also got a guest today. It's our dear friend, Adam Athene. Little round of applause for Adam Athene, which we call him Athene because obviously he's got the same name as me. So you will be called a theme for this episode. Do you want to chat about yourself? Big Liverpool fan, aren't you, a theme?
Yeah, big Liverpool fan. We're winning the quadruple this season. Darwin Núñez is the best player in the Premier League, and it's a pleasure to be here. Great to see everyone after New Year and everything. And excited to be here.
Quality. We've got a lot to talk about this episode. It's been more of a busy week of football so far this month, considering the previous weeks have been absolutely dry, and we've not had much to talk about. So we're going to start off with Tom Batt, your team Tottenham, and their 2-2 draw against United. I imagine we all watched the game. Did everyone watch the game?
Yeah.
There we go. Love to see it. What do you make of the game back, considering you are a Tottenham fan? Was you happy with the draw, or do you think you could have got more?
Easily could have won that game, really. I mean, to be honest, I was coming into it a bit scared because we were missing 5 key players, including basically half our midfield. I mean, the fact that we managed to dominate a game, I know United are in really poor form, but the fact that we managed to dominate a game with Højbjerg, Skip, and Bentancur as our 3 in midfield, I mean, it says enough, really. I mean, and an attack as well. We had Werner, made his debut. Got his assist.
Hey, because you was backing Werner last week, mate. So don't start this.
No. I didn't expect him to start. I only just realised Kulusevski was injured on the day, or ill, or whatever he was.
He was ill, I'm pretty sure.
So Werner to make his debut straight like that, I thought he'd done a good job. He got his assist. He he had that Rose Z shot, but to be fair, it was from like 30 yards out, so it didn't bother me too much. But he did his job. Brennan Johnson annoyed me a little bit. I thought his final product let us down a lot. I think that's what let us down overall. But really, the touch was Porro and that right foot of his on set piece, everything. I mean, he's got 8 assists now, I think. Maybe 9, I'm not sure. But
I'm not sure.
Definitely been one of our players of the season at the moment. And he's competing up there in the right-back position, obviously, with Trent as well. But Trent plays up more midfield. But he's doing quality. He is doing quality. I'm not saying he's better than
shaky
Arnold.
first half, though.
I'm not saying he's better than Arnold. Yeah, but you know what? It's Rashford. But
the thing, what do you make of that, by the way?
Do you know, I was agreeing with him until he mentioned Trent.
I'm not saying he's better than Trent. I can't say he's better than Trent because Trent's done it for seasons, but I'm saying he's giving him a bit of competition with the assists because no one really ever competes with Trent on that assist market. But Poro's on 8 or 9 now, which, is putting a bit of threat in there, at least, if you get what I mean. United's display, embarrassing. I thought.
Their defence was so bad.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I know they're in a bad way, bad shape, but to play at home at Old Trafford against, don't get me wrong, Spurs are doing well, but against a Spurs side missing 5 key players, 2 being Maddison and Son, and having 30% possession and 2 shots on target the whole game.
Yeah, but that's how they play, though.
No, they scored the 2 goals up. 2 shots.
You think counter-attacking is their style, but they don't even do that right. Like when you actually watch someone that can counter-attack it, like Newcastle against City, that was right counter-attack. They didn't even counter-attack properly. Their 2 shots really wasn't even, like they're on target, wasn't even a counter-attack. They came really from nothing, really, both of them. They were just wonder strikes, really, from each Rashford.
No, the Rashford one's not a wonder strike. It's a counter. That's came from me. The Højlund one, I get.
They're both very good finishes.
But
they didn't really threat us that much. I thought, Rashford more or less ran down the wing and out of play about 4 or 5 times. That was probably apart from those 2 shots they had. They didn't really do anything else. We could have, with the right players, I reckon we could have smashed.
Oh yeah, had a penalty though. Could have had a penalty.
That was never a penalty. Don't even start. He's talking about the Udogie one where Udogie was literally behind him. And Garnacho just threw himself to the ground. That was never a penalty. That was never a penalty. And Udogie as well pocketed Garnacho as well. That was a quiet game from Garnacho, I thought.
Well, if you're being picky, their scored 2, so he can't have done too much. There's no clean sheet for a goal.
No, look,
when we played United, it was 0-0. So
look, don't get me wrong. I thought we would have won.
That guy's not scored in like 7 months at home, and he scores against you. The best.
But he scored the game
league,
before that as well,
and you've got to remember Rashford's back with his ex-girlfriend, and you know what? So you've got to remember that's when you start scoring.
Rashford now.
I think that's how United play though. They do hit on the counter, and I don't think they've got the ability to play possession-based football. Like I'm sorry, but Johnny Evans is not capable from playing out from the back. No. Same way I can't imagine McTominay picking up the ball from holding mid. I just don't think they've got the ability to do that. So you can say only scored 2 and they didn't counter well, but their 2 goals came from counterattacks.
I get what you mean in a way. But what did you think of Bruno's display, by the way? Because obviously he's the person that Man United fans look to pick him up in the game, and he's the captain as well. I thought it was terrible. I just think he's been terrible this season. What do you lot think?
It's hard to do well in that midfield. It's hard to do well in that midfield.
100%.
Yeah, but when you're the best player, you need to do something. Do you get what I mean? It's like Maddison came in, and look, I know our midfield's changed, but he amplified that midfield completely. He took it to another level. That's what Bruno's
massively underrating your squad, though.
Yeah, I think you're massively underrating your squad, and you're over. They've got.
I'm underrating Skip Højbjerg.
No, but
who nearly got us relegated.
You're talking about last season, Spurs fans loved Højbjerg.
No, Maddison's unbelievable.
So I'm not having that Højbjerg slander now.
No, but I'm saying Maddison isn't playing right now. He's playing with Sarr and Bissouma.
Yeah.
Are they not 2 very strong midfielders?
Yeah, but we didn't have them. Sarr and Bissouma. No, I'm not saying they're not, but Sarr and Bissouma are great. But I'm saying Maddison changed our team. He did. He came in and made that team. Bruno's that Maddison. Do you get what I mean? They don't have a terrible.
He hasn't got Sarr or
Bissouma
with him. He's got Mainu who's having his debut season.
Yeah, but Sarr. This is more or less Sarr's. I know he played somewhat last season, but this is more or less Sarr and Bissouma's debut season because they didn't even play last season. No, when you actually think of it on paper, they didn't play for Conte. They didn't.
Bissouma's played for the last 5 years.
If you I mean for Spurs. I mean for Spurs in that style. I mean Mainu, it's not like that. Mainu, but I rate Mainu. I think he's a quality player.
Exactly the same as he was at Brighton.
Yeah, but what I mean is last season they came to Spurs and neither Sarr or Bissouma played. It was always Skip Højbjerg. So I'm saying in a Spurs midfield, this is their debut for Spurs.
But then, if you look at this way, if you look at it this way, though, if you look at both of your starting 11s for that game, Tom, you pretty much body every position on paper. Like I'm taking Vicario over Onana.
Yeah,
I'm definitely taking Poir after Dalot after that shocking display. He couldn't even handle Werner.
Yeah,
I'm taking both your centre backs, Romero and Van der Ven. I'm taking a doggy over.
I thought Wan-Bissaka played well though. Wan-Bissaka played all right.
He did do well. He did do well. I mean,
at left back, considering he's not got.
I don't know what they were doing there. Yeah. I don't know what the point of that was.
But like, I'd definitely take most of your players over.
How about let's see the midfield of Man U put out them 3. So who was it? It was Eriksen, Mainu, and Bruno.
Fernandes.
And then our midfield of Højbjerg, Skip, and Bentancur. What's the best midfield in out of those 6?
Bentancur, Højbjerg, and Bruno Fernandes.
Oh, see, I'd have Mainu over Højbjerg personally.
You don't think Mainu over Højbjerg? Because I do. I'm not even saying that, but I think Mainu is.
Mainu's played 4 games all season.
Yeah, but
that doesn't matter. He's a better player.
He's not looked in. He looks good. He looks that amazing.
Just because
he just looks all right.
He's made a few like sloppy touches here and there. Like he gets dispossessed a lot.
Who's that?
Yeah, that's true.
He does get dispossessed.
Yeah, but so does Højbjerg. Højbjerg got dispossessed loads in that match. He did. He wasn't. I mean, Skip, I didn't even see in that game, but Højbjerg, he's so inconsistent. He's just an inconsistent midfielder. I prefer Mainu. I think everyone would. A lot of people would say Mainu over Højbjerg.
Yeah, I think that's just ridiculously hype though.
It might be hype, but I think he's a better player. I just think he's got a bit more to him than Højbjerg.
I'm taking Bentancur, Højbjerg, and Fernandes.
Yeah,
and then I'll probably take your attack as well. Maybe Rashford.
You take the attack? What? Johnson, Richarlison, and Werner, and then Garnacho, Rashford,
is overrated. Garnacho's overrated.
Yeah.
He's only getting hype from that overhead kick.
So Garnacho. Okay, so let's think of wings. So both are wings. So Garnacho or Johnson?
I'm choosing Brennan. If I'm getting the choice to sign either,
I
want to hear Athene. I want to hear the guest. Athene, what do you say?
Really?
Johnson.
I think
Garnacho
Garnacho personally.
Okay.
As much as I'm a Liverpool fan, so I hate him. First of all, he's a prick, and I would gladly see him get hit by a bus. But like, he is good. He looks really good for that team because of how poor I think Rashford, Martial, Højlund have been. So he looks even better than what he probably is. But I do think he'd be better than. I think quite a few of the Spurs wingers, to be honest. I'd rather him in my team than Kulusevski, personally, as well.
Okay, no, that's a bit too far. No, that one's a bit too far. That one's a bit
shit
too
last season. We just forgetting he took a year off. Are we just forgetting he took a year off?
Yeah, but everyone took a year off. Son took a year off.
Are we actually taking
Garnacho?
Yeah.
Are we actually taking Garnacho?
Okay, guys, no, we can't say Garnacho.
No, he's not.
That's mental. That's mental. That is the craziest thing.
Richarlison is shit.
You want to look at Kulu's stats this year?
Richarlison for 70 million scored like 2 goals in like 3 years.
Garnacho is so overrated.
Okay.
No, this is
actually Højlund or Richarlison. Højlund or Richarlison. Because they're both similar prices.
What are you, mate?
It is Richarlison. You have to say Richarlison. You have to say Richarlison.
You have to say Richarlison.
He scored 6 and 6. He scored 6 and 6.
No, go on, Athene.
He scored 6. You're saying 6 and 6 to make his stats look better. We just forgetting the 38 games last season that he didn't score it.
Yeah, but everyone, Son didn't even. I don't think Son. I think Son just about scored 10 goals last season.
Involved right now. 5 years before that.
Only good player last season was Harry Kane. That was it. Our team, without Kane, we would have got relegated last season. We would have been in the bottom. That's how
you wouldn't got relegated.
No. If you actually look at the point, we wouldn't have got relegated, but we would have been near the bottom half of the table. I promise you, we would have been. Without Kane, we would have been near the bottom half of the table with the stats that we were putting in.
But that's like
potentially. But
I'm not saying relegated, but that's what I'm saying now. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying now.
No, I'm taking Richarlison over Højlund. I'm taking Richarlison over Højlund.
And what about Rashford Werner? Considering that was
I'll take Rashford. Yeah, I'm taking
Rashford.
You got to say Rashford.
I get why people like Richarlison. I also just think he's a prick, to be fair.
Fair enough.
He was quality in that game against United.
I do like. I think Højlund's got a lot to. I think Højlund in a better team. I know he missed quite a few chances as well, but I think he's got all the right attributes to be a really good striker.
Yeah.
I
do agree with that. I agree with that.
I hate this thing though. If Højlund was in a better team, the thing is, United. I know they're in a rubbish phase, but they're bringing in players like Højlund and all that to build a better team. So you can't just say like, "Oh, put him in a better team." He was brought in to make the team better.
Look how many injuries they've got. Sorry, look how many injuries they've got.
I know you think about the chance he gets as well.
Yeah,
like half of what a normal Prem striker gets.
Do you get? Yeah,
that's why I'm taking Johnson over Garnacho. The Donny gets, mate. Højlund gets.
He does make a lot of chances.
He gets zero. He doesn't get many. He doesn't get much service.
How many assists is Johnson on? 4 or 5 now?
Yeah, but you're also
to be fair,
you're comparing a right winger to Garnacho who's a left winger. Like Garnacho only plays on the right because Anthony's so shit.
I still can't believe you said Garnacho over Kulusevski though. That's the craziest thing.
I don't rate Kulusevski that much. I think he's a bit overrated. That's in my opinion.
Right. Well,
maybe that was a bit of a stretch. That I went a bit far with that one. I take that one back.
You got a bit excited.
What we can conclude from this is your starting 11 was a lot better than United's. That's the point I was trying to make.
In a way, defensively, maybe.
Yes. It's eight of your players I've taken over. Like there's 3 United players I've taken. If that,
but but you got to take into account it was at Old Trafford as well, though. That's what you got to take into account. They're at home
and turned them over,
and we haven't beaten them at home. We haven't beaten them at home for years. We haven't. It's like Arsenal. We haven't beaten them at home for years, so they've got that in their locker as well. They've got that against us. So they've got a lot against us. For us to nearly beat them, and like the way we did, not even like just scrape it. We more or less should have smashed it.
Yeah, but at the end of the day,
we drew. Fair enough, we drew. But I don't think any United.
You didn't actually create a lot. You didn't create a lot anyway.
Yeah, there wasn't any must have should have scored sort of thing. I wouldn't have said your XG was very high, not to go off that, but I wouldn't have said it was stupidly high, was it? I can't imagine. I don't know. Not to be one of those people, but
we're going to move on to maybe a concern for Athene and Yorkie. City managed to go behind against Newcastle and put it back after a goal and an assist from the best centre mid in the world, De Bruyne. Does that worry you as Liverpool fans that someone like De Bruyne who can just come back and give us instant energy and produce a comeback. Is that worrying for you Liverpool fans? Or
Yeah. It'd be stupid to say you're not worried.
But do you remember last week when we said De Bruyne got an assist against Huddersfield, and this man started then going, "Oh, it's just Huddersfield."
No. I told you it was a quality assist as well.
It was De Bruyne-esque.
And guess what? He did De Bruyne-esque against Newcastle as well.
The assist he got the one, that was De Bruyne-esque.
That was a good. Yeah, but anyway, let's as Athene and Yorks, is it, as you were saying, Yorks, it is worrying you?
Yeah, like that quality, like it will worry you. It's just, will he continue that? He probably will.
Yeah,
he probably will. But obviously, now they brought him back. Now they've lost HAALAND until the end of the month as well. So it seems like they just can't win at the moment. They get someone back and they lose someone.
Edison could be out for a while as well.
Yeah,
I like that Ortega though.
And
I like Ortega though. I think he's a good.
Stones got injured as well. I think, didn't he? I'm pretty sure at some point.
Athene, are you worried? Are you worried, Athene, or are you?
I wouldn't say worried, because at the end of the day, like, if the league, like, we've all played the same amount of games, and right now we're top of the league. That's what. Like, if the league finished tomorrow, we won the league, innit? So, obviously you've got to be worried, but we've beaten that. No, but am I wrong?
Weirdest statement I've ever heard in my life. We won.
I think they were game in hand, aren't they? I thought it was game in hand.
No, we're
right
same
now.
now.
We played the same.
Oh, okay.
Until we played the weekend, but
yeah, but that's without De Bruyne though. I'm saying with the addition.
Yeah, but they won the league the other season without De Bruyne. So, and like they've done this well without De Bruyne up until now. And I'm not saying like he's shit or anything by any means, but this is the same Newcastle team that lost to Liverpool with 10 men, and Nunes looked like R9. So,
because he is.
I mean, I'm not going to.
But I think it's very like Newcastle folded quite a few times. Like, obviously it's impressive, but and he came back. Obviously, he did look a little bit off it at times, but then obviously played two really good, like a really good pass and scored a really good goal. But I think everyone's got like cities to lose now. Like, well, technically they're still second, isn't it? So it's hard.
They're still a title race.
I think everyone's completely writing off Liverpool. Like, they continue to do it all. No. Like, who was it that said at the weekend that they reckon if everyone's fit, Spurs finish higher than Liverpool?
Neville.
No.
Are they just? Is every team just like? It's like, for some reason, Newcastle and Spurs get extra special treatment for injuries compared to other teams. Liverpool currently don't have Thiago, Trent. Pacetic is out injured.
We did have 15 players
injured. Robbo's out injured as well.
Matip.
Matip's out injured. Squad players like that. Endo and Salah obviously gone as well, right, with the thing. These are all vital. Soboslai as well has been injured. But yes, Spurs, when they lose Davis or someone is a massive
we have had 15 injuries.
How many of them
we had a defensive fullbacks.
I get you've got players out, like obviously the two forwards, Maddison and Son, and then obviously two midfielders as well. Big losses. But like, I don't know. I think everyone's got injuries. United have lost injuries, like Casemiro, Varane's constantly injured. Mason Mount's been injured as well.
No, don't get me wrong. Your injuries are like, I mean, at this point now for Liverpool and City, I'm not saying we're going to finish above Liverpool because we won't, but I'm saying Liverpool and City, any injuries now, big injuries could impact the whole season. Like just you losing, I don't know if Trent's still out. I don't know how long he's out for.
Out to the end.
That's what I mean. Just him missing. I know Salah's missing, but him missing now could be like the difference in winning a title and not winning titles. You get what I mean? Because what he was doing this season, coming into the midfield,
I don't know if this is like a hot take or an underrated opinion, but I think you've now got the worst injuries in the league or worst missings. You think you're
possibly now? Yeah.
Trent's gone. You've got no left back. You've not got any of your regular midfielders. Your best player, arguably the best player in the league, has gone. Like, I don't know who else.
Yeah, no, they're probably up there. Yeah, they're probably still up there. Because we've got our defence back now, which makes it a bit different. We're still missing.
Brian have got a lot of injuries,
but they're missing.
Brian have got like no fullbacks.
You are missing quite a bit.
Estepinian's back though. Estepinian's back.
Yeah, but don't worry about Brian. I wouldn't worry because Brian are going to be mid-table anyway. It doesn't matter.
No, I'm just saying.
In response to into my question of who's got the worst injury.
I think there's a lot of the top teams have injuries and stuff. I think January's important for every team.
Newcastle as well.
Yeah,
Newcastle are their starting 11. They're just missing like that bench. That's what's happening. I still think we're worse off than Newcastle. I think not in the way we're playing, but we're
It
playing.
depends on what way you look at it.
I think in the way the players we're missing, I think we're more in trouble. What you said, Newcastle have their full starting 11 apart from Joelinton. We're still missing 5 starting 11 players. So I don't really know how you could say we're worse. Newcastle worse off than us.
Pope's out.
They clearly not got their best midfield. They've got Lewis Marley starting them in midfield. Longstaff's out. Joelinton might be out to the rest of the season. Got no Harvey Barnes, who's basically starting left wing.
Yeah, but they've still got. Yeah, but I'm saying they've still got a good starting 11. They've still got a quality starting 11.
So have you. You've got a good starting 11.
In a way, yeah, but not our starting 11. They've got more or less their starting 11. We don't. We're still missing 5 key main players. We're missing Son, Madden. Imagine that Newcastle but taking out Isaac, Son, Isaac Gordon, and Bruno. Imagine just taking them 3 out of Newcastle. It changes
that already.
Huh?
Callum Wilson would play.
Yeah. That's what I mean. That's the injury they've got there. That's the one they're missing. They're missing the Callum Wilson, but Isaac is their main striker. He is their main striker. No, they're just missing a bench. That's all they're missing. They're missing that squad depth. But that's also their fault for doing the FFP thing and spending too much that they can't dip into the window this season. We're just clever enough to actually know to dip into the. We haven't spent the right amount of money and we can buy more this summer, which we have.
You used all your money on Richarlison, that's why. So it's not very smart there at all. But that's
it's interesting you mentioned FFP and being able to spend money, as 2 clubs have been hit by FFP. Nottingham Forest being one for overspending, and Everton has been hit again. But what do you guys think about this? It's harsh for Sean Dyche having to now bounce back potentially with another 10-point deduction. I don't know. What are your opinions on FFP with City and Chelsea as well?
Well, the court date, they've announced they've got a court date now for City today. They've not said the date, but they announced there's going to be one.
Definitely be after the season, though, wouldn't it? Probably.
It's next year, though. I remember saying that it was going to be, because of the amount of charges they actually have. Yeah. It has to go into detail. I mean, the Everton one and this Forest one, it's only like 1 probably to 5 charges. I don't know how many, but it's not a lot. Where this City one's massive, and Chelsea one's
scary, that, isn't it? Like, if you think about it, like 1 charge, you get a 10-point deduction.
I think
City have got so many charges. What?
They're not going to get relegated, though.
I think it's different, though. I think the Forest one at the moment, and that is based on losses, not what they've spent.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
They've lost too much, isn't it? I'm not. It is a bit confusing. I don't really get it. It's a bit confusing, but I think what they're doing is they're punishing, because Forest and Everton are like big football clubs in England, and they're also like mid-table at the moment. They're not doing like Unreal or whatever. So they're sort of punishing that middle group of teams where it sends out a message to the big, the top 6 now, the current top 6 or whatever, but also to because if they took points off, let's say Luton, no disrespect, they're the small, they are the smallest club in the league. It's not really sending a massive statement. Whereas if they send a message out on Everton and Forest, it sends a statement out to then teams, everyone above them from Villa or Newcastle, Liverpool, whoever it is. I think that sends more of a statement than just punishing the lower teams. But I think it's going to take years for City to get anything, and it's going to be pointless by the time it comes around, to be honest, I think.
But my thing is, even as a Chelsea fan, because I'm not too sure what our thing with FFP is, it's probably something to do with overspending or something like that. If 1 charge gets you 10 points deducted, what is 100 charges? What is
or even 20 charges?
I estimated it'd probably be they won't relegate. I can't imagine relegating a City
I can't
team
imagine that.
It's what you can do with all the players as well. You can't have players like Haaland and all that sitting in the Championship. I
think that's exactly what they'll do. Be like
I reckon it'd be like a point deduction at the start of the season, in a way that they struggle to get top 4 or something, or to especially win the title. But I think the big thing
that's not enough.
That's not enough.
No, listen, this would be the big thing they'll do. I reckon they will stop them buying in any of the transfer windows. They give it a transfer ban for at least 4 windows, so they can't buy anyone for 2 whole seasons. That's quite big to not buy anyone, and you can lose players, but you can't buy players. We had
a whole transfer ban for 1 season.
Yeah, but 2 seasons is big.
Because we signed.
Big.
Yeah, I suppose, but for me, I don't think you can relegate a team. How would that work? Because who's then coming up? Who's then filling that spot?
All you have to do is you literally just
relegate them.
How it works. but like how Rangers were moved down, weren't they? Not too long ago, down a couple of divisions in Scotland. And
Same with Juventus.
Yeah, I think what they do is they just shift them down to maybe not National League. That's a bit of a stretch.
Premier League though, they won't.
It's the Premier League, but they borderline cheated. Like, are you sitting there looking at? So okay, like there's probably several games where it could have affected stuff. Champions League finals or whatever it could be, big games where they've signed players where they shouldn't have, and they've scored winners against teams, and they've relegated teams, knocked them out.
At least they've played the only thing I respect is at least they've played good football. They haven't played like just bought everyone out.
No, man, I can't stand watching them. No, I can't stand watching them.
Look, you can't. I know you're a Liverpool fan, but you can't deny you haven't enjoyed watching them at least.
I'll watch it on fall asleep.
Yeah, it is.
Really? You think it's boring to watch a team like that?
Sideways.
It's almost too good football, I think. It's just too much.
Yeah, I can see that point. It is almost perfect.
It's too robotic. There's no
point where it's robotic. Yeah. I do agree with that.
The issue about De Bruyne is, it's just everyone just passes sideways. At least De Bruyne may whip in like some mad cross.
Yeah, the only thing I respect about City though, and this is the only thing I do like, their youth academy. Really? I think they've got a cracking.
No, I don't respect it. I don't respect it.
Let me think.
No,
okay, let me just think. Foden, Youth Academy, Cole Palmer, you've just bought and he's doing good for you. They've now got Oscar Bob.
That guy's overrated. If we're talking about overrated, Cole Palmer.
Oh,
mate. Well, I'm not carry on.
Okay,
Desmond, you were saying the other day though. You were saying like, he needs.
Okay, right.
He's not playing as well as people are saying.
That's a separate. Right. So my thing with Cole Palmer is a lot of his goals have come from penalties. But I do
you still got to score them.
Yeah, but obviously you've still got to score them. I understand that. But at the same time, like I do think, and I think it's just a Chelsea problem overall. Like I think it's not really down to Cole Palmer. I think we are very reliant. Like a lot of our goals have come from penalties this season, but that's a separate issue. You know, I don't think Cole Palmer's overrated, and it's not something that I'm gonna bother arguing with. Athene, you dumb man.
Because you know you're wrong.
But what?
I mean, let's say one thing. Conor Gallagher's in your Chelsea team because of how shit your other midfielders are. And Conor Gallagher was going to get sold the other year and told how shit he was. But
he's still going back to FFP.
He looks like one of your best midfielders now because the other two guys look shit.
Why are we coming for Chelsea? Why are we even coming for Chelsea? It's about FFP. It's about FFP. Okay, so let's.
Okay. Going back to Chelsea then on FFP, you guys probably have to sell Gallagher, don't you? Because you guys are in a lot of trouble with FFP.
We sell a lot of players. Because we've got one of the best academies back. That's why it's not City's academy that is. Who have
you run for your academy lately though?
Okay. So we can sell Lewis Hall for 30 mil. Well, he's going for 30 mil because Newcastle have got the obligation to. Ian Martin's probably going to leave after Dortmund. Broja, I imagine, is going to leave at some point. And these are all players that I think can go for 20 mil plus.
Yeah. But I haven't seen anyone like.
I don't think Broja is that good, but he will go for 20 mil plus. He will go for 20 mil plus.
Would you sell James? Would you sell Reece James?
Well, that man's a bum.
Okay, right. Again,
you'll make good money off it.
Statements like this is just making me, I'm trying really hard to just not go on a tangent and make it a very long episode.
Athene, who's better, Reece James or Pedro Porro?
Oh, mate.
This season it's Pedro Porro. James has played like 2 games.
Annoyed Deadman.
No. This season he has been.
He has been better here.
I'm not even this. Yeah, Deadman, you were saying the other week to me and George on that PlayStation, mate. You know what? I wouldn't be against James.
I wouldn't be.
The guy can't stay fit. The guy can't stay fit.
Yeah, I wouldn't because he can't stay fit.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he can't stay fit. Yeah.
So you said it,
boys. Okay, yeah. Relax for 1 second. I was gonna finish. Let me finish. Okay. As I was gonna say, I would sell him. Yes. But I prioritise selling the likes of Martin and Co over James. But I would not be opposed to selling James. Yeah. Because again, I think we could, even though he's been injured and his injury list is all the way down, like it's reaching the floor. His injury list, right?
Terrible.
We could definitely still get 40 mil plus for James, just because it's that caliber type of player.
You'd get more than that. You'd get like 80 mil.
40 is minimum. 40 is minimum, and that's me being. But you don't know because injuries, that's. But look, anyway, let's revert back to FFP because he's done comments by our stupid guest. I don't even know why we've got him on here. It's making me.
Let me just I like Cole Palmer as a player, but I think the only reason I think he's overrated is because of how like he shouldn't start for England. And for me, I wouldn't bring him because I think we've got enough players.
I'd bring him England. I wouldn't start him. Not start him.
What's the point of bringing him just to come? Like Maddison's going to be on the bench.
What's the point of bringing Mark Gahey then? What's the point of bringing Tyrone Mings seasons ago? Then what's the point of bringing? Because
it's a difference in depth and quality.
Exactly. Thanks.
Wait, is Oscar Bob English?
No, he's Norwegian.
No, he's Norwegian. Come on, man.
Okay.
He's still good enough to sit on the bench though. Like, there's no one else that you take over Palmer.
No, but my point. Okay, forget England. I still think he's overrated because I think it's because of how poor Chelsea look. He looks a lot better. Like, if you know what I mean. I think that's what it is. I think he's a good player, but I don't think he's I don't think he's as good as what people are saying. Basically, everyone thinks he's some sort of fucking oracle.
He's good. I get what you mean. No, I get what you're saying. But he's good.
Yeah.
He is good.
All right. Anyway, no more dumb comments. Let's revert back to FFP. There's not much else to say about it. I feel like we've covered it.
The only thing I'd say about FFP, and it's to all you guys.
Yeah, go on.
Do you think teams are now taking it more seriously? Because taken into this window transfer for consideration, only City have bought that youngster and we've made some business. That's it. Normally, winter is a bit more busier than this. So a lot of other teams being more careful now.
I tend to think it speeds up a bit come the end, doesn't it? Like people do last minute sort of stuff because people are almost waiting for not injuries, but to see how bad it gets and then go, oh, fuck, we need to buy someone or something.
There's not a lot of people available out there at the moment as well that are actually good.
It's difficult to buy.
If you compare it to, it's not even happening anymore. But it's just not quite like
World Cup as well.
Yeah, but you've got to think as well. So Ivan Toney's going to cost 60, 70. I do think clubs are being more. I think clubs are being more cautious. Cautious. In terms of their losses. You know, they're having to balance out their profits.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. That's why I think it's gone quiet. That's why I think it's gone quiet.
Clubs are looking out a bit more, but I just think more clubs are relying on their scouts. Like if you look at the amount of cheap business that is going on with Brazilians, wonder kids. Like I'm seeing.
I mean, even us. We
every club linked to some random Donny. We linked with some guy. I can't remember his name, but he's known as Messinho. I don't even know anything about him. He plays for Palmeiras and he's 16 and he's eligible to play for us. Now. Yeah, but I think
sounds good. Cool name.
Messinho, exactly.
And again, we knew any of our players when we bought them, Van der Ven, Vicario, and all that, and even that.
But this is waffle because Van der Ven.
Let me get my little violin out, mate.
Wait, you actually knew Van der Ven?
Mate, he had such a great season for Wolfsburg last year.
You didn't know much about him, be honest. Just because you're saying he was a paper merchant on FIFA.
I don't watch the Brazilian league.
Yeah,
I don't know about Messinho.
A European top 5 league and the Brazilian league where he's 16. If you watched him when the younger, it's child pornography bat, so you can't do anything.
No, I think we actually need to get the umbrella and violin out again. I swear, like this is just Messinho from Palmeiras is getting compared to the best goalkeeper in the season so far.
No, but I'm saying we bought him for 15 million.
Second.
You don't. He's the best this season. He is. I'm not saying overall.
Yeah, okay. To answer your question, I do think clubs are being more cautious in spending.
Yeah.
However, I think they're relying more on their scouts than ever to pick up these gems. If you look at what Brighton's been doing, they've gone and got Valentin Barco from Boca Juniors. I don't know too much.
Yeah,
about
no, I get what you mean.
Teams are looking at Brighton and seeing that they're doing this small business and earning profit. I think this is what clubs like Chelsea and City are doing as well, where they sign these young players, knowing they've got a decent profile, knowing that they've probably got some potential to go further, and then selling them on. If you look at what Benfica's been doing in the previous 5 to 10 years, where they're doing the same, I think bigger clubs are noticing this pattern and then also relying that it works out for them as well.
I do think, to be fair, in January it's just hard to get the quality you want. Like,
I also agree with that as well,
yeah, because I think teams are very reluctant to sell their best players. Like United have been linked with strikers. I think that is it Boniface, the guy from Leverkusen, I think it is.
Yeah.
They were looking at him like Leverkusen, the top of the league. I know his buyout clause is probably like 20 million or something stupid like that, but they'd be very reluctant to sell him. Like they'll give him an extension or something because they're top of the league. So why would they let go of their striker, even if it is to United mid-season when they're trying to potentially win a league? Like I think it's very difficult to like you said, Ivan Toney. I thought that was never going to happen because I also think he should stay at Brentford for this season anyway. I think it looks a bit bad if he just leaves. But the money they'd want is what 100 million, I'd say, give or take, for Ivan Toney.
Yeah, around it. Yeah.
Just because he's an English striker, what is he? 27 maybe, 27, 28 maybe.
He's 27.
Yeah,
I think he's 26, 27.
And I think that would be just. I think it'd be too much. Like Arsenal, obviously, they spent. Apparently, there's a room with Arsenal that they've only got like 11 million to spend or something.
Yeah, I saw that.
They haven't sold a lot.
And they have to sell people like Smith Rowe and people like. You tend to see a lot of loans in January more than anything.
Yeah,
like you see a lot of loans and then
very 6 months loan.
Yeah, just last minute.
That's
loans
what we. That's
football because teams want to try or players want to try and push to get into the international tournament at the end of the season. I think that you see a lot of loans, like last minute sort of rushes and stuff like that, really.
Yeah, it's a big gamble, I think, as well at January. A lot of risks you've got to take. But we'll move on from that. That was probably one of the best discussions we've actually had on the podcast, to be fair. A lot of tension rising, especially from your stupid comments, Athene. None of that.
It's because Matt wants to watch 15 or something.
Oh my God, where is this?
Anyway, moving on. The El Clasico happened on Sunday, but I don't know if anyone watched it. I definitely watched it. Bat, you watched it as well.
Yeah, I watched it.
Don't know if you boys watched it. Athene, Yorks.
I didn't watch it. I was at work.
I didn't watch it, mate. I was at work.
Poor from you, to be honest. Poor from you. But Vinicius Junior got a hat trick. Don't know if anyone's watched the highlights as well, but it was a pretty solid hat trick with Barcelona fans triggering Xavi out. Don't know if anyone's watched Barcelona at all this season or watched Real Madrid, but it was an easy game for Real Madrid.
Yeah, I don't even know what Barca were doing, really. I mean, what do Real Madrid have? I mean, apart from Bellingham, they've got Rodrigo and Vinicius, two of the fastest people in the world up front.
You said that as if they had no one there, and I was going to mention
I know.
The best depth.
I'm saying good. Like they've got literally probably one of the fastest footballers in the world, with Vinicius Junior, and they're playing a high line. They were playing a high line on the halfway line, and they got in behind twice in the space of 5 minutes and scored. And they didn't even think, let me change this now. We're 2-0 down. Even when they went 2-1, it was like, let me change this. No, they kept it going. Happened again, got a penalty. And then by then it was game over really. And then the fourth just came in the second half really. It was more or less, Real Madrid easy. I mean, even their Barca goal, Deadman. I mean, if it weren't for Lewandowski to score, like it came from nothing really. It was just a first time volley.
Dodgy clearance, great volley.
And he somehow tucked it in. Apart from that. I mean, and they got a red as well, didn't they, Barca?
Araujo,
Araujo got a red. It was just Real Madrid. I mean, it just showed how far ahead, Real Madrid are to Barca now.
The main thing for me about that game was purely because I don't watch Spanish football much. This is the first Spanish game I've watched this season. The thing I have to take into account more than it wasn't the game, it's just the amount of choices Real Madrid have on the bench. The depth is unreal, even with injuries. Mainly from
they've got a lot of injuries. Yeah.
Even with their defense. But I was seeing. So you had Bellingham, Kroos, and Tchouaméni starting, and then seeing Camavinga coming on, Modric coming on, Dani Ceballos coming on. These are all. Brahim Diaz came on as well. These are all players who can start for. Other teams around the world. So my question is, do you think that they can win the Champions League with this type of depth? Can they go that distance?
Well, I remember. Sorry, I let these two talk in a sec, but I remember a few episodes ago we actually predicted this. If you remember, us three, and I put I think me and Deadman both put Real Madrid as our.
York's is dumb. Dumb Arsenal.
York said Arsenal, didn't he?
Mine looks bad now, mate. Mine looks bad now.
But I don't know what you think, Athene. But we thought Real Madrid, and still now I think Real Madrid. And also, just quickly, just want to say Bellingham as well. Watching that game, if you did, he's got to be a 10 for England because he's too good. Like I know we've got players like Foden and Maddison that play 10, but Bellingham has to play 10. He's too good in that. He was
so good.
It's too good.
But Athene, what do you reckon? Do you think Real Madrid with this depth they can go that distance?
Yeah, I just worry that they haven't got a proper goal scorer. like Hosselu isn't going to get the goals they need. Like it almost felt a point like they were giving him sympathy goals. They were really trying to get him goals during the Champions League at times. Obviously, Vinny's a very good player. I'm not like world class, whatever.
Yeah.
Rodrigo's obviously very good as well. And the midfield is stacked. They have a very good team. But for around, like, you look back at the last couple of years of Real Madrid, when they did well in the competition, who was the one pulling them out every time? It was Benzema, their forwards. So I think now they're missing that. Obviously, that's why they want Mbappe so much and whoever other strikers they're linked with. So I think that might be the only thing that, for me, it would be between City and them. For me, I do think Arsenal could get far because over 2 legs, I think they'll start to maybe prioritise that over the league already. I know it sounds bad, but I think they'll start to really focus on Champions League personally. I also think PSG, I know everyone says it every year, but I think Mbappe for me is on the level of, in my opinion, the best player in the tournament. So he can change a game just as much as your Bellinghams and all that can, if not more. But I would probably say Madrid are favourites based on just the stats, like. And as you said, all the injuries they've got out as well. I don't know the full list, but I do know like Alaba's out, Courtois, I think Militao.
It's mainly their defence.
Yeah, Militao's out
as
well.
Their defence has been killed. So, but to think they still have like Rudiger in there. Don't they have? Is it Kepa in goal? Was he in goal at the weekend?
No, they play that Lunin, who's been really good. He's been more the favourite. He's quite. Do you know what? I'm not even gonna lie. He could play for some big Prem teams.
That's my point, though. It's this depth they've got. There's so many players who can just play for.
From a team like Madrid, though, when they've also been cheating financially as well, you'd expect it. So, but no, I think it'd be between them and City would be my 2 for the final.
I thought that. Can I just say that PSG statement? I thought was outrageous that they could win the Champions League.
Yeah, over 2 legs they can. If Mbappe turns on, they can.
I think they're terrible. I know they've got Mbappe, but I think they're useless. I think they've got a lot of overrated players in that team. Do you know who I think is really overrated? You lot might think. This might start some debate, but I think Marquinhos is ridiculously overrated.
I don't even know.
I know you don't watch French League. I don't either, but he's this rated centre back, like captain. Replaced Thiago Silva. But every time I watch him in the Champions League against the big players, he's terrible, absolutely terrible. And I just think PSG are just a one-man team.
I do think they got a lot of
good players. Once they lose him, it's done. Once they lose him,
they've got a lot of young players coming through now as well.
Dembele's a very good player. Colin Wani seems all right. That Zai Emery.
Did he do good at Barca? Did he do good at Barca, Usman? Dembele.
Until he had ankles made like polystyrene, he was doing all right.
Yeah,
he was getting injured like every week. So he was
I think he's a bit overrated as well.
He was deep. To be fair, Dembele last season for Barca.
Yeah, very good. He's very good.
Yeah.
Like he was like their top assist for the club. Yeah. I'm pretty sure last season.
If they can keep him fit, he's a seriously good player. Like he was tipped.
Yeah, and they got that. I like that Mawani as well. I like Colin Mawani, but I liked him when he was at Frankfurt.
Yeah, Frankfurt.
Yeah,
I thought he was good then, but I just wanted to say
the main thing coming from the El Clasico was Xavi out. It's not been a confident season for him. They're currently placed, I think, 3rd or 4th in La Liga. Real Madrid and Girona. Real Madrid will probably win the league, but Girona are doing...
Defo second. I reckon they come second.
Near as good as Real Madrid, but...
Well, they're above them now when they play an extra game.
Yeah, I think Madrid are just over the long run. They're just a winning mentality team. But Girona will get top 4. Like, they'll get Champions League football next season.
Barca have had injuries, though, haven't they? Barca was Pedri and Xavi. I swear they.
Yeah, so Pedri was playing, but I think Gavi's out.
Gavi's still out, which is a big one for them because he's like their 10.
Yeah. Well, he was very important to them. Xavi. He liked Xavi a lot. Is the way he sort of played was a lot through.
Yeah.
What about De Jong? I take it they're all still playing.
De Jong was
playing. Yeah. Well, if you look to their midfield, one thing for me was their midfield is just so similar. They had like 3 8s playing in a midfield. They had Gundogan, De Jong, who isn't a holding mid. De Jong is not a holding mid. And
I don't know.
No, he's too active.
He's more of an 8. He's more of an 8. He's not like, I'm not saying he's an all-out goal scorer.
He's like a 6 you want a double pivot.
He's a different definition.
That's it.
Yeah.
But he's too active. Like he's too. He wants the ball.
Too good.
It's
almost like
he can't just sit in one position. He doesn't want to just sit in a holding midfield.
And I think he's a really good dribbler as well. Like his dribbling is really good. I feel like that part is wasted at holding mid. And they also have Pedri there, who all have very similar profiles. So I think Xavi out is
Well, I feel bad for him at the same time because they're in a bad place, Barca. I know they've signed, Lewandowski and they've got good players, but Rafinha's out. Ferran Torres played, but they've all around the pitch is youngsters. That Yamal come on, he was 16. They don't have they're in such bad way. I saw something the other day. They need to sell Araujo. That's who they're looking at because they need money. They need to.
That's what it is.
They can get 80 million.
It's all the finances, isn't it?
It's not just a Xavi. Barca are just in a bad way. And to be honest, I wouldn't sell him. He's still they're not going to win anything really. He still got them to a final.
They just won the league. They won the league last year.
Yeah, they won the league last year. That's what I mean. They won the league. He's still got them to the finals. He's probably still going to get them top 4. They might not win the league, but he's still getting Champions League football.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a dumb thing. They're not going to compete for the league, not with Real Madrid the way they are.
And they're still in the Champions League,
aren't they? Really, it's silly to sack him.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit of a.
I think,
panic,
but
really.
things with those.
They lost the final. They lost a final.
Like,
why can they complain that much?
But with those clubs, they're expected to win everything every season. Like it's a whole.
And
as a Spurs fan, you wouldn't know that, but
no, I do get what you mean. But Real, they are in a bad way,
isn't it?
They're in a bad. They are just in a bad shape.
I'd agree. The fact they have to sell Araujo is one of their best players just to get by is shocking. Like it's sad seeing Barcelona. I think the way it is.
I said they will come back though. They will.
I think they will. I think
they've got the history. They've got someone. It's like AC Milan and Inter.
And they have the players as well. They have the players. They're just all out.
Look at AC and Inter now. They returned after a while. They had a bit of trouble and they all came.
They're playing 16-year-olds. That team's going to be fine for 10 years. It's just these next couple of years might be a bit.
Going to have to lose some big players, but they're still
exactly.
I think De Jong will go at one point as well. I reckon he will. He's linked. Once United get a bit better, I think I can actually see a move.
I thought he'd
so many times.
Now they've got Casemiro, though. I don't think they obviously need him. I'm not saying that, but I think they've spent so much on him that the new owners, I think, won't do the same. Because he's going to be like 100
I think De Jong might, but it's one that I think if Barca are going to let go because they love Xavi and Pedri over there. They love them. Do you get it? So they're not going to sell them two. So if they're gonna make money on one of them, it'll be De Jong. They won't sell Xavi. They won't sell Xavi. Gavi's literally their icon. He's like their next. Everyone. I'm not saying he's on that level, but they adored Messi and they want to build a team around Messi. Gavi's the same. They want to build a team around Xavi.
Yeah. So unfortunate loss for Barcelona, but big win for Real Madrid. We're going to move on to something that I spoke about a few weeks ago when it was just me and Yorks. Now, Athene, I asked you to come up with a little something for us. Yeah, a little question that you could, give us. This is a little element that I want to do for guests that come on. They present an idea or a question for us to debate about, and it can be anything across the footballing spectrum, the footballing world. So, Athene, I'm gonna allow you to tell us your question.
Yeah.
Okay, go on. You can deliver it however you want.
Thank you. It's more. It's a statement in my opinion. Well, yeah, I suppose it could be a question as well. I think that Erling Haaland will never be the best footballer in the world, like in any year. I think whilst there's other people playing, Vinicius Junior, Jude Bellingham, mainly Kylian Mbappe, no matter what. So even if he wins the Ballon d'Or, because it's one of them so Messi won it, obviously just gone. He obviously wasn't the best player of that year, was he? Like there was it's not people had better years or better seasons or whatever. He still might be one of the best footballers. I'm not denying that, but in my opinion, Haaland will never be the best footballer, not even in the Premier League, because I just don't think he's the best goal scorer. There's a difference between being a good goal scorer and a good football player, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So I think.
I get what you mean. Yeah,
I
agree.
I could go one further on my statement and go Mbappe, in my opinion, is clear of Haaland, and I don't think it should be a debate on who's the better player.
Okay.
That's
Yorks, you said you agree. Yorks, you said
we'll go one at a time. We'll go one at a time. Go on,
Yorks. Go on, Yorks.
I think right now Haaland's the best player in the league.
Yeah.
And I would go probably De Bruyne, Salah. He's a goalkeeper. In his position, Alisson by far the best in the world. So I would say them three.
Okay.
I don't know what order. But then in the world, I would Mbappe be my number one by far. Haaland would not be able to do what Kylian Mbappe can do, but Mbappe would be able to do what Haaland can do. I think.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I thought everyone.
I'd agree with it as well. But the part that annoys me right, is people like Theo Baker, who say like, if I was in Haaland's position, I'd be able to score 9 or 10.
Yeah.
That's what annoys me. Because I think people take away the credit, because he makes it look so easy.
Yeah, there's a lot of
to be in these
the movement,
to be in these areas. Yeah, and I think that's what comes under being a footballer. If you this is the thing, right?
Yeah.
Here's why. Look, in my opinion, I think Messi deserved the Ballon d'Or. I think he deserved.
Yeah.
I think back shaking your head, you can think what you want, but I think he deserved it. Had great numbers before into Miami. His move, he had great numbers at PSG.
Yeah.
He won the World Cup.
Yeah.
Not only did he win it, he was probably the biggest part in winning it. You know, top goal scorer, most man of the match awards given to him in the World Cup. I think Haaland, however, anyway, let me get back to my point about like a number 9's. Their aim is to score goals. Yeah. What you want your 9 to do is score goals. That's the reason we're struggling. That's the reason why Arsenal are struggling to score goals. You know, that is their job. Their role, their job is to score goals.
Yeah.
And the people that I think forget about being a footballer is you've got to be able to have the movement. You've got to be able to have the brain to be in the right positions to score. You've got to have the right technique. You've got to have the right... Yeah, you can say Haaland can't do what Mbappe does, but that's because Mbappe's a winger. Haaland ain't a winger. Mbappe's job as a winger is, yes, to score and it's to assist. And it's to take on defenders and beat them, whatever. But that's Haaland's role as well. And for me, Haaland still does that. So is Haaland still a good footballer? You know...
Well, I won't even say... I'd rather... I think Kane was in Haaland's spot.
Yeah.
More goals than Haaland. I think
Oh,
Kane's a better striker.
He's a better striker.
Yeah, I do.
I disagree because I think Kane would be
He'd be dropping deep.
His yeah, exactly. So his job has changed over the past few years.
Yeah.
Instead of being in the box, like this is a problem that people have picked up with England because he's not in the box. We aren't getting any numbers in the box to fill his shoes, and he's dropping it deep.
How many goals he got for Bayern Munich?
Oh, yeah, but no.
22.
No, before we go,
that's not my point, though. That's not my point.
Well, you said he's got a different position. He's
everyone's now saying that
most of the goals of the year.
Yeah, but it's really tough. But I think Harry Kane's there. The league has been washed for years.
No, it is. It's easy.
No, it's an easy league, but he's still doing it.
Yeah, he's not doing it. But what I'm saying is,
he did it at Spurs as well. He did it at Tottenham. He scored 30 goals last season.
100%. But what I'm saying is I think he wouldn't score as many goals as he would in the City side.
I'd agree with that.
Because
no, he would. He would score. No, he would score a lot of goals.
I don't think he'd outdo. I don't think he'd outdo Haaland. I don't think he'd outdo Haaland.
I think he'd be on a similar level.
Haaland's job is just to be in the box,
just for that final touch.
Just to and that's for me that's what makes him such a perfect footballer for his role, for his job.
I think
Kane's job. I completely agree that Kane is a
better footballer.
I think this is this is what we're getting.
He's
the better. He can do it all. Okay, yeah. Here's what we're getting at.
Yeah.
I agree that Kane is a better player. He can do more. He offers. You could argue maybe he offers more.
Yeah.
But I think he wouldn't outdo Haaland because he'd be wanting to constantly drop in. Be wanting to. But in my opinion, he might offer more. He might get City more goals because of his playmaking ability.
I still think this debate could go on and on. But I'll just say like my thing. First of all, just quickly before I answer Adam's statement, it was just I just think Kane would score more. I do. Okay. I'm not going to say he's quality. He can score goal, and you know what? If he's in that City side, I know you say he drops in, but he won't have to do that. I know you says he's done that, but he changed his game because he needed that because we didn't have a Maddison at Spurs. If Maddison was at Spurs and he was still there, you'd probably find that Kane would be scoring a lot of goals this season because he wouldn't have to drop in. It's just, he's only had to change his style because of the way that Spurs didn't have a 10. When Eriksen was there and all that, he never had to drop in and he would score still 30 goals a season. Put him in a City side where you got De Bruyne.
Didn't break Haaland's record, though. Didn't break the record.
He would score goal after goal. He would score goal after goal. He wouldn't have to come back and...
Yeah, but he weren't as good then as he is now. You'd say that he didn't break the record. He weren't as good then when he had an Eriksen. than he is now.
He had the legs then. He's a bit stiff now, isn't he?
But anyway, your statement, Haaland, yeah, I agree now. Probably not now. I think I disagree in a way because I think last year he was the best player in the world. I know you might think technically not, maybe not, but yet like on the balls, Mbappe can do skills. But last year he was the best player in the world. He scored the most goals in the world. You know, he was last season. He was unbelievable. No one does that really. If Ronaldo, I know like, I'm not saying it, but if Ronaldo just scored goal after goal and like didn't have the skill he did, you'd still call him the best player in the world because he scored that many goals. Haaland scored that many goals. So yeah, technically your statement's already wrong because he was. I know Messi was great, but as I just said about Kane doing it at Bayern Munich, and you disagreed, Messi did it for PSG, which is even worse league. So I know he did it in the World Cup. I love Messi. I think obviously one of the best players of all time, if probably the best player of all time. But he did it in the French league. Haaland won a treble, done it in 3 different competitions.
But can you not argue that's also what won't win? That's not what will get Haaland a trophy.
No, but he was the best. I know the treble on it, but he was the best player. He was unbelievable in the Champions League. He was unbelievable in the Prem. He scored his goals. He did his job. His job was to score
all
goals.
The 3 finals they played in,
and he done
season,
that at a ridiculous.
And all that. He did nothing
in the hardest league in the world. But I still think he was the best player in the world last year. But from now on, maybe not. I don't know, because I think Bellingham's come in, and the way Bellingham's playing at the moment, it's going to be very hard to top
the biggest
Haaland
game last season is the World Cup final. His competition scored a hat trick.
All it is with Haaland, I don't think the goals that he scored last season, I don't think he'll have another. And honestly, I don't think Haaland will have another season like that again. I still think he'll score a lot of goals, but I don't think he will score the goals that he did, because De Bruyne will go at one point and he won't get the assist. I mean, they might get someone else in, but he won't get the goals he did last season. That was different.
No, but
that's why I think he was the best player in the world.
I think he will get.
I disagree. He'll be. I think he can definitely get more. He's got what?
No,
10
in the Prem. How many goals did he get last season in the Prem?
But he might get a move to Real Madrid.
Or he
might get a move elsewhere.
Maybe. But if Mbappe goes to Madrid, I don't think they get Haaland. And I don't think there's a better team in the world than City at the moment. And to be honest, I don't think there's a better team of all time than this City team. This City team is one of the best of all time, really, when you actually think of it. It's probably one. So you say more goals. Unless he goes to an easier league. In the Prem, I'm saying this is probably the most goals he's ever going to score last year. I don't think he's going to score more Prem goals than he did.
He misses quite a lot of big chances as well, to be fair.
He does, in a way, and I don't think his hold-up play is great. I think that's where he needs to improve certain parts of his game, like Kane changes.
The guy's injured. He played 14 games on 14 goals.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, he scored a lot of goals. He did. No, I'm not saying he didn't, but I'm saying he's not going to score.
I'm saying that right now.
I just don't think he's going to score as many goals as he ever
did. I don't
did.
think he'll score as many.
I think that season was a one of a. I'm not saying it's a one of a kind, but I think.
Anyway, let's revert back to the statement. Yeah. As in,
So I disagree and agree. That's what I say. I agree for the future. I disagree because last season he was the best in the world.
No, because I still if anyone gave you a team, so you have unlimited money, and they go, "Who's your first player?" Like you're almost doing like a world draft for your team for the league. What's the first player you're picking tomorrow? Most people...
Yeah, but last season the first player you'd be picking is Haaland. That would be your first player. The season he had, you would.
I disagree. So wait, hang on. Right now you're choosing Haaland over Kane. So if someone said to you, "Look, you can have all the money."
Now I choose Kane.
Yeah,
last season I choose Haaland.
I'd say Mbappe still. Last season Mbappe, this season Mbappe, next season.
Yeah, I'd go Mbappe.
I'm putting Mbappe out the left though.
But my point is, who's your first player to pick?
He means if you like to pick the first pick.
That means he's the best.
Yeah, I would choose Mbappe.
He's the best player, isn't he? He's the best player if he's the one you pick. Simple,
No, that's what I agree now that I think, you are right. But to be honest, my first pick would probably be Bellingham. But I do get what you mean. He'd be like my third pick now. And maybe it might even be fourth, because I think Kane would be above.
It's a good question, because I think it was something that was really heavily spoken about last year. Yeah. Because people were saying, well, is Haaland better than... I think Haaland and Kane comparison came up a lot. Because people were saying, Haaland isn't a good footballer, but he's a good goal scorer. And that's something that I struggle to like. I understand it, but I think it's
he's good at his job. He's the best in the world at his job, really. Him and Kane are the two best.
I think
probably Kane topping him at the moment. But
people want to create a new Messi Ronaldo debate, and it's the easiest.
It's not going to happen.
And I said, in my opinion, I don't think it's even a debate. I think like that's not a debate. I think this one's not a debate either. If you watch football and know football, all the skills that go into football, like not just goals. Obviously, I know it's one of the biggest. We say it like Mbappe doesn't score goals. Like I said, the guy just he's won a World Cup and he just got a hat-trick in the next World Cup.
Oh no, he's unbelievable.
Exactly. So it's like he doesn't score goals, but he also gets assists. You give him the ball anywhere, you go, oh wait, something could happen. If you give Haaland the ball at the halfway line, you don't go, oh, there's a chance. But almost with Mbappe, you think he could actually somehow get to goal and score from there. Like he could do anything from anywhere on the pitch.
You just said like that Messi Ronaldo, like they want to make a new Messi Ronaldo. Would you say Haaland's even that anymore? Would you say it's Mbappe Haaland or Mbappe Bellingham now? Because Bellingham's come in and he's.
My point, Mbappe's clear of anyone. Neither. It's Mbappe. And you've got Haaland.
Yeah. Oh no, I know. No, I get like that. But if we're going to talk about, I'm not saying no one's going to be Messi Ronaldo because what they did was, best of all time. But I'm saying if there's a new like debate of the two best in the world, do you still put Haaland in it, or do you put Bellingham in it?
It'd be unfair to compare a centre midfielder to us.
Okay, in my opinion, to actually this would conclude I would agree with you in the sense if Mbappe went to Real Madrid, he'd be clear. I think once you get that move to Real Madrid, I think it completely then that whole like Farmers League just completely like. Do you not get my point though? Like I feel like there's still people arguing, oh, Haaland's better or he's not. I think it's that type of money like that move where you go to a club like just Real Madrid. I think you can get the Ballon d'Or.
The thing is, I do think if Mbappe goes to Madrid, I think there's just a Spanish.
There is a bit of a
thing to the Ballon d'Or. I always find it a Spanish.
That's what I was saying about Real Madrid.
Yeah, I do think, but I also think, if I'd love to see Mbappe in the Premier League, obviously only for Liverpool. I'd hate to see him anywhere else. But I do think, I think we've all saw Mbappe, Messi, Ronaldo for what 10 or 15 years in the La Liga. I think if the Premier League really wants it and they managed to get Liverpool to somehow get Mbappe and they had Haaland, I think that's for most neutrals. I think that's what they want to see happen. Because he can go to Madrid and he'll do unreal. But Madrid, the Spanish league isn't much better. Let's be honest now. It's not that Athletic Madrid aren't the same. Barca are falling off. Like Girona are like fourth or whatever they are, second or whatever it is. For years ago, they'd have never been near that. It would have been Barca and Madrid.
But they would need a relegation
or whatever it would have been. Yeah. So I'm not disrespect. Obviously, they're still good teams, but you look at the last couple of winners of the European tournaments. Who's always in the finals? There's always English teams. Like Madrid are good in the Champions.
No, I get what you mean.
So I think it'd be one of them that he could go there. Like a bit, it's different. Kane, like if Kane goes and wins a Bundesliga, he's suddenly not gonna skyrocket to the best striker of all time just because he wins a Bundesliga. Like, do you know what I mean? He's got because of the weight.
No, but I do say if he won the Bundesliga and the Champions League and kept his goal record up, I think he could have a Ballon d'Or. There's a chance he could. Maybe even just winning one trophy. If he just wins one trophy and he has the goal record,
that's what I'm saying.
He continues.
But when you have to go and win Champions League and win the Euros, it shows the level of what the Bundesliga is.
I just think they've ruined a Ballon d'Or overall. It should be the best player in the world. It shouldn't have to worry about trophies anymore.
Yeah,
it should just be best player in the world.
Anyway, to round up your question, I agree with you, Afine. I do agree with you.
Nice.
Even though it might have sounded maybe anti, but I do agree with you. Yorks, you agree or disagree?
I agree.
Yes.
And
I agree.
Come on.
I mean, you heard me. I agree I agree from his statement now, but last year I disagree in a way because he was the best in the world last year.
Okay.
In my opinion,
it was a good statement. To be fair, hopefully we have more of them coming up. But let's move on to our final piece for this episode, and the FIFA Pro World 11 was announced yesterday. We didn't actually have a chance to actually go through our own before it was announced, but we're going to say what our World 11 would have been. I'll read out the FIFA Pros World 11. In goal, we had Courtois.
Yeah.
We had a back three of Ruben Diaz, Kyle Walker, and John Stones. Midfield of De Bruyne, Bellingham, Bernardo Silva, and a front four of Vinicius Junior, Mbappe, Haaland, and Messi. So,
fucking hell.
Does anyone want to go with their World 11 first? I don't mind starting it off.
Yeah. I'll start.
Go on back.
And then quickly, I'll just get it out of the way. So mine goal instead, not Courtois, I'll do Edison. I think that's probably everyone's pick. Makes no sense why it shouldn't be him. I'm doing a 4-3-3, by the way. Just to let you know, I'll change formation a bit. Right back Walker, easy. Centre backs, I've gone Stones and Kim Min-jae. Because I thought for Napoli, he was unbelievable last season. And at left back, you probably will think it's controversial, but I'm putting Nathan Ake there. Because I thought they lost Cancelo. They lost Cancelo last season, and everyone thought who's going to replace him. Ake came in, unbelievable, won a treble. So you can't. He got goals and assists.
He's not played since September.
I still thought he was quality. I said I'm putting him at left back. I'm putting him for last season. I'm putting him at left back because he was quality.
I hear it.
Midfield, De Bruyne, Bellingham, and I don't even know why he's not in there, but Rodri. Rodri should be in there. I don't know why he's not. And then wingers, I'm gonna put what's it called? Mbappe, Haaland, and I mean Messi did win the Ballon d'Or, but I'll probably put him in for the World Cup. But I think there are like people that you could say like that I thought was also good last season, but they only won the Serie A, which was can't you pronounce his name? Is it
Kvaratskhelia?
I thought he was unbelievable, but obviously he's not going to get the hype because he didn't win a World Cup. But he still was unbelievable in Napoli winning that Serie A from history really. But yeah, and obviously you got Kane that you could put in there as well because Kane got 30 plus goals at Spurs, so he was quality. But I'll probably put in Messi. But Messi won the Ballon d'Or, so it might be Kane, but you'd probably put in Messi just because to not annoy people.
I'd probably, to be fair, agree with pretty much that whole thing. Other than I couldn't really think of another left back to put ahead. Really.
That's what I mean. That's why
I'd go over three back. I'd go over three back.
But I'd probably go three. But the thing is, it's hard not to just go full City with just Bellingham, Mbappe, and Messi. Do you know what I mean? Like it's
yeah.
And I think that's arguably what you got to do. Really, there's not really much else.
Yeah, no,
when the team wins the treble, it's very difficult to put anyone else really in that team. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, I'd gone. I think Courtois getting in there is just I don't get that.
Edison won the award as well, didn't he, for best goalie? So it doesn't.
Yeah, but I think. Yeah, I don't really understand it. I don't know how Courtois. I know he had a good Champions League run. I know that he was pretty good in that, but that doesn't equivalate to what Edison.
Edison won it all. Yeah, he may not have been the best keeper, but he was really important in the final.
So my centre back, side of back three, Kim Min-jae, Ruben Dias, and Kyle Walker.
No John Stones.
No John Stones. No general. None of the.
You thought Diaz was better than Stones last season? That's all I'm wondering.
I just think he was solid.
It's calendar year, mate. Calendar year.
Solid centre back. I had a midfield four. I've gone with De Bruyne, Rodri, Bernardo Silva, and Bellingham. And then my front three: Messi, Haaland, and Mbappe. That's what I had. Yeah. You seem really disgusted through it. I can't tell if it's your Wi-Fi or if you.
No, it's not Wi-Fi. It's not Wi-Fi. My team would be very similar to yours. I'd have Edison, Stones, Diaz, Joel Kwanzaa. Then I'd have a midfield four of Bellingham, Rodri, De Bruyne, Silva.
Brzezicz.
Now front three. No, he's been injured half the year.
That's stupid, Devin. Don't be stupid.
Yeah, and then I would have Mbappe, Haaland, and Ben Doak.
Oh, yeah. That's I'd back it, to be fair, yeah.
No, I forgot about Ben Doak. I did forget about him. Sorry, my bad.
It'll be Messi right wing, then centre back be Kim Min-jae.
Yeah, that's basically what I had as well.
No Kyle Walker for me.
Wait, no Kyle Walker.
There's gay sex orgies, that's why.
Exactly, mate.
No Kyle Walker.
Mate, he's been bang average this year. The second half he's been bang average.
He's probably the best right back in the world.
Let's not take the piss here, mate.
He's the best right back in the world.
Yorks has to go set him up.
Bro's getting burned every game the last 2 months.
Yorks. I know I'm normally known as the waffler and the person that has no ball knowledge. That's what people say. But the fact that you don't think Kyle Walker's the best right back in the world is
apparently no, he's not. I'd even put your man at Spurs ahead of him, and that's bold.
Yeah, he's been better. Porro's been better than him this season, and Trippier, and Trent.
Deadman?
No, he's not been better.
Well, Walker's in my FFP because of that year.
Yeah, it's based off last season as well. That's why he's in it. That's why I put him in.
Yeah, I think Walker's been the best right back in. He's the best right back in the world.
For last year, yes, but not this season.
That's your opinion.
It's two different things.
Okay. Also, can I ask? See, Edison. I was saying this to Deadman earlier. I think Edison. I know he had a good season last season, but I think he's a bit overrated.
Yeah,
because I think he's great with his feet, and I know you like Alisson.
I don't think he's overrated.
I think he's overrated. Don't wrong. Edison's the best in the world.
Yeah.
As a shot stopper, a keeper, I don't think he's unbelievable. No, he's a lot better.
I think he's gone down, and he's not as overrated as he used to, because he used to be compared to Alisson just because he was Brazilian.
No, Alisson's way better. I know Thingy can use his feet, but Alisson's got it all. Like, he might not be as good.
I think Edison's still a good keeper, but he's just not as.
Yeah, so I think Edison's overhated.
He's disrespected now.
I'm not saying
he might get to that now.
I'm not saying he's overrated, but I'm saying I think there's better keepers. Yeah. I think he had a good season last season, but I think overall over the seasons he's been at City, there's been better keepers all round in the world.
3-4 better keepers in the world.
But even this season, Alisson and Vicario have been better than him.
Yeah.
I know he's injured now, but it's true. Alisson and Vicario have been better than him, and he's this keeper that plays for Man City. So I just think he's a slightly overrated in a way. I think he's best in the world with his feet.
No, he's still a world class goalkeeper.
No, don't get me wrong. Yeah. Would you put him in the top 5 in the Prem this season?
Yes. Top 5. That's a quarter of the league, mate. That's quite a large bracket.
Okay. Would you put him in top 3? No. Would you put him in top 3? No. Who's your top 3?
I knew you were going to ask me that then.
I'd go Vicario, Martinez,
Alisson, Emi Martinez.
Martinez is better than him. Yeah, in fact, Martinez is better than him.
But I think Edison is 4th. Like, Edison has done this. Like, the problem with Edison is I think he gets overhated because it's like Haaland. He does the job that that's what you want your players to do. Right?
Does he though?
Edison's in a system. Edison's in a system where he's actually an addition. He is the 11th man on the. I know it sounds stupid, but he is.
No, I get what you mean.
He's
what Onana does, but he's just way better than Onana.
Way better than Onana. Yeah,
just does what Onana does.
The main one.
No, he does do what Onana does. Onana plays with his feet, but he's just way better than Onana at it. He does exactly what Onana does. They're
the main player for me who isn't in that.
Really?
The main player that I think the main player that I think has been missed out is Rodri. I don't know how Rodri isn't in that world.
Yeah, and I don't know how Vinny got in there either.
It's because they wanted all the forwards. That's why they wanted all the forwards. Yeah. And people vote for goals.
That's the first time I've ever seen that. Normally they do like a back four.
Last year they had a front four as well. Last year they had a front four.
I think that's what it is.
The exact same player.
They have to fit him in somehow. That's what. So
yeah. Well, let's round up this episode. It's been quite an eventful one, I'd say. It's been a bit of an emotional roller coaster. I don't know if it's just with a theme here. It's brought some outrageous statements.
You agreed with most?
No, I thought they were good takes.
There was good takes. Some of them.
Must be a Liverpool thing. I'm not too sure, but we've gone through a lot. I'd like to thank Athene coming on to this episode, and a big shout out to his own podcast. I'll leave it in the link in the description. The Rose Ed podcast. Who me and Yorks have been on ourselves, and Bat isn't good enough to be on that podcast yet. So I'm sure there's negotiations.
We'll have to get him
amongst.
When
it'd be nice to have a good waffler.
When Spurs are mid-table again, we'll get him on.
Oh, there we go. So when Spurs go
2 weeks time, then
But yeah, thank you for Athene coming on. As I said, I'll leave a description to his podcast in the as I said, in the description. That's all we've got time for. We'll see you again next week.
Adios.
See you guys.